Sasha was truly stunned this time. She was determined to go home, while Lance declared that she had never seen anything like this in her life. If they kept going, they'd capture more 3/4 A gravio footage. She showed her professionalism and insisted on filming. She sent Sasha to rest, then took Houston and Little Black to film, but no supernatural events appeared despite their efforts. Having just gone through that, the others started to feel jittery too, and Houston thought they had already filmed enough. It was time to head back, but Lance was still not ready. She took pictures of the surroundings with her camera, and then they set off back to the hall. But while walking, they somehow got lost and ended up back at square one. Fear started to creep into their hearts. After who knows how long, they finally returned to the main hall to organize, but just as Matt was retrieving the camera, he discovered that the originally closed window had actually swung open. She quickly called Lance on the walkie-talkie, but there was no response on the other end. Just then, there was a loud crash from downstairs, and on the other side, Lance was all set to leave. Seeing Matt hadn't returned, and no reply, Lance thought maybe 3 of us should find him. As they walked, something was off. Matt's equipment was scattered, but he was missing, panicking Lance. She decided to split into 2 groups. The faster they found someone, the better. Anyone who's seen a horror movie knows splitting up is a big no at times like this. Often the solo one suffers first. Unfortunately, Little Black was the unlucky one. She searched one empty room after another, her mood tightening, her language escalating from simple curses to heavy artillery. Unexpectedly, and without any warning, Little Black was abruptly shoved down the stairs for absolutely no apparent reason. The others came rushing at the sound, and this little incident had everyone spooked. They couldn't help but admit this place was getting weirder by the minute. Unfortunately, they missed their chance to leave. The manager's phone was unreachable, and no signal inside. Little Black was about to lose it. She disregarded all agreements and pushed the gurney to ram open the door, but when it swung open, everyone was stunned to find that the other side wasn't the outside world. Instead, it led to a dim, narrow corridor. Just as they were discussing the situation, Sasha spotted the most unsettling scene without a doubt. This was the door they entered. Lance urged Coleman to move forward. Before long, they saw another door, but when they opened it, it revealed yet another camera-less corridor. Little Black was about to snap. She felt she'd soon be taken by ghosts if they didn't escape. So, she hurled herself at the window. But this was an insane asylum. The quality was guaranteed. Someone suggested jumping out the glass window, but that was a 4th floor. If not dead, they'd be badly hurt. Lance suddenly felt something was wrong. She checked yesterday. Sunrise was at 7:45 a.m. But it's 8:44 a.m. now, and still dark outside. This discovery reignited fear. They screamed for help out the window. But it was a famous haunted house, no one outside. Just as everyone's emotions were about to snap, Houston stepped up. He said this was an old building. There might be energy disrupting the outside. It could still very well be 4 or 5 in the morning, which reasonably explains why the doorman hasn't arrived to open the door yet. As each second passed by, everyone gradually started to feel utterly drained. Lance checked her phone. It was 1:12 p.m., but Kenny, the doorman, hadn't appeared. Meanwhile, Lance and others, awake for over 20 hours, dozed off until the light fixture fell, jolting them awake into complete darkness. The only light came from their flashlights and cameras. Lance glanced at her watch. It was now 8 p.m. They slept for 7 hours. Strangely, the food was spoiled in the cooler. It was crawling with mold and maggots. One bizarre occurrence after another drove their fear to the limit, and they decided to take immediate action. After some discussion, they unanimously decided to head to the roof, where the view would be better for escaping. Without a moment to lose, everyone jumped. They gingerly climbed to the 4th floor, finally spotting a sign pointing to the roof. But just when they thought hope was within reach, a thick concrete wall appeared around the corner. Little Black gazed in disbelief as their newly kindled hope was utterly and completely dashed. They checked the building map together and realized the layout was nothing like the map. This house seemed to be shifting. Suddenly, the detective's needle began spinning wildly, indicating a shift in the surrounding magnetic field. Just then, a series of calls rang out from the darkness, and they mistakenly believed it to be Matt's voice, prompting them to rush towards the direction of the sound to investigate. But when they arrived in the room, it was completely empty. The sudden shock nearly made everyone wet themselves. The camera also began malfunctioning, going black at a critical moment. Lance started feeling hopeless. They felt trapped in a gigantic maze. With no way to escape or contact the outside world, they hid in a room. After who knows how long, something terrifying happened again. Sasha had a hello suddenly etched on her back. The ghosts in the building began to emerge and attack, and Sasha cowered into the corner in fear. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled with Matt's desperate calls, unintelligible and frantic. All they could perceive was the panic embedded in Matt's tone. The walkie-talkie signal meant Matt was nearby, so Lance decided to search for him right away. They tried communicating with Matt over the walkie-talkie while filming, and as they walked, they saw a fleeting shadow ahead. Thinking it was Matt, they yelled and chased after it, but as they got closer, it turned out to be a woman in a hospital gown. She stood silently facing the wall, causing everyone to retreat into a room in fright. They were too scared to turn on the lights, and when all fell silent, they realized Houston was missing. Without a flashlight, Houston had to feel his way along the walls in the corridor. But at that moment, no one noticed that the door to the room ahead suddenly opened and closed.